European region, and we got Magic from the Latam region, chat. So it's been an interesting one. Slayers came up in the last couple of tournaments. Last tournament, he fell down significantly, though. He had a really strong lead against pretty much everyone else. And then the lead has collapsed in on itself. He's only about 10 points away from Super Jeff, so Super Jeff is right behind him. Also, Super Jeff featured in our YouTube long-form video today. Madnan put it as the pinned comment. There it is. I see it right there. But if you want to check out that in between games, you're more than welcome to do so. We literally just posted it like an hour ago or whatever. But yeah, chat, I'm excited for today. It's going to be a big race to see who can keep that MVP crown, or maybe a new player will take the MVP crown. I believe the last time it wasn't Slayer, it was probably Guh. If I had to guess who it would have been, it was probably Guh on the top spot, not going to lie. But yeah, there's a little bit of iffiness going on for the brownout. Just in the country of the Philippines, nobody else has this. I've actually never seen a country as big as the Philippines have like blackouts across different states. I've just never seen it before. It's a first for me, chat. That's for sure. It's a first for me. I'm gonna go ahead and walk you through the team list real quick. So, ooh, interesting. Some of the most notable teams that we have here. Of course, team number 1 is going to feature Holy Father. He's actually pairing up with Marab, who is a player from Lebanon in the Middle East. It's actually not too far from me. I have a couple of friends who are Lebanese as well that go to my gym in Dubai. Team 2, Guh is splitting up with Lotex, and he's going to be playing with Tom Pips. You can see Super Jeff is taking a spot there in team number 2, but he's actually over in team number 3, I believe. Team 5, Remy is splitting up with Holy Father and now playing with Tokyo because Holy Father is playing with Marab that I just said moments ago. Notable for Team 6, Slayer's now playing with Necro, which was a teammate of his for the Rebirth Island tournament instead of playing with Loading, which he was playing with last week. Keep in mind, that duo actually won the last duo event that we held before this year's one, so they've split up because of their bad performance last week, and now Slayer has a new duo out, and it's not Lotex, and it's not Loading. It is Necro. Always have to take my time pronouncing that guy's name, man, because it is an interesting one. I might get cancelled sometime in the future for his name, not gonna lie. Neck, I need you to change it, bro. Like, what the frick, bro? Team number 9... we've got Wagner and Balor are together. One of them is from the Philippines, while the other one is currently living in Germany. Team number 13, another big mention. We've got our Latam goats being Magic and Patata. Magic is, I think he's borderlining underrated territory because he's in the top 10 for the MVPs, and nobody's really talking about how good he is on high MS. And I think there's something to be said about players like Slayer, players like Lotex, and players like Magic when it comes to performing on very high ping. And those 3 are some of the best 3 players at being able to do that. I know Lotex used to complain about it, but he's still up at the tippity top when it comes to doing it. Going down again, a notable team. Team 14 is going to be Senior J and Kust. I can see them right there, Team 14. They actually won last week's duos, so it'll be interesting to see if they can come through and win this week's duos. I have no idea if they're going to be able to go back to back. Of course, this week is going to be played completely differently just because of the fact that Medic is banned, Jackal is banned, and of course, Tempest is out as well. Tempest was out last week, but the other 2 things weren't, and I think it's going to dramatically change up this entire tournament. Going down the list even further, Team 15, we've got Secret and Stiller. They were top 3 last week, so maybe they will have a chance to be able to secure their W inside of this week's tournament because they really didn't benefit from the Medic strat that was held last week, which basically every other duo did. Every other duo pretty much did that. Interestingly enough, team number 19, you can see Baller has actually joined. Now, you guys know I only want the best of the best inside of these tournaments, but I'll make an exception for one player and one player only. He's pretty much the new generation piece of heaven. If you don't know who that is, I mean, you're not OG in the slightest. But this guy has made it himself known by being the biggest noob in COD. But I think he's faking it. And we have challenged him with Kidlai here to see if he's actually good under the covers. And if he is faking being a noob, because there's no way somebody's that bad at Call of Duty Mobile after playing for that long, brother. There's just absolutely not a chance, broski. Team 20, we've got Garju and Venge from the Philippines playing as a duo. I'm not familiar with this duo, so I'm interested to see how they come through here in this duo finals. Then team number 21 is Glitch and Strain Sniping, who are also a new duo into the finals, chat. So we'll have to see what these new... Wait, hold on. There's no way that could be Team 21, man. You're going to need to give me a little update on that one, Brisky. But yeah, I can see on TikTok people are saying, yeah, can't open his account. Unfortunately, I can't do anything about that, and we won't be able to stop the tournament if he can't open his account. I don't know why he can't do that, but there's nothing we can do. We have a strict schedule. We can't hold it off for somebody to get in, and that's going to be on him for sure. But yeah, chat, we're going to get ready to get into the first game of today's series. There's 3 games on Blackout, and there is 4 games on Isolated, chat. 4 games Isolated, 3 games Blackout. Because of there being a bug inside of the duos version of private matches, we're doing all 3 of the first games on Blackout, so it's going to be Blackout back to back to back, and then right after that, we're going to do 4 games of Isolated. Usually, we do Isolated Blackout, Isolated Blackout, Isolated Blackout, and we kind of like put them one after each other, but just the way that the settings are working right now in the game, it's bugged. We've already informed Activision about this, so they're looking for a hot fix real quick, but for this tournament, we're going to make it in chunks. So we're going to see the best Blackout duos, then the best Isolated duos, and at the end, we're going to congratulate whoever is the best duo for not using Medstrat. Listen, Medstrat, it's cool. It's an awesome strategy to do if you don't want to take fights. But we like seeing competitive tournaments. We like seeing tournaments where mechanical gun skill is a top priority. And I think this is going to be just that, chat. I think that's going to be exactly what this is. Also, speaking a little bit more about the teams here, Mandan's actually sent me a list of qualifying teams. So if you didn't watch the qualifiers, I'll run them through you real quick. We'll slide right down to the bottom so that you can see all of those qualifier names that actually went through the qualifiers yesterday in a 4-game series. We've got Quajotes. Those guys are from USA and Costa Rica. They're Team 44. We've got Team 45, which is the Kuro duo, which is Chucky and Fallon. They're also from the USA. So we had 2 teams primarily from America qualify. Then we've got Golden Duo, that's Nagdi and Andrew. They slipped in right at the end of the qualifiers yesterday, getting 31 points in the last game to get right up in there. They're from Egypt and Turkey, so we got an African player in there along with a Turkish player for team number 46. Team 47, we've got Enigma Legend. That's Julio and Yimbo. They're from Venezuela, and they are really, really fun to watch. They actually might be my favorite, yeah, they are. They're my favorite qualification team to watch because they're hyper aggressive. They're always trying to find kills in as many different ways as possible, and I love tuning into them, so we're definitely going to give them a little bit of a watch throughout this 7-game series. Right below that, we've got Team 48. That's going to be the Icon duo. That features Rezox and Insolence. They have actually won a Blackout tournament back, God, it must be over 2 years ago now, or almost 2 years ago now, when they won that event so long ago, right when we started our tournaments pretty much. But they cooked, and Rezox got a 1v4 in the end game. Obviously, times have changed. Players are not as bad now as they were back then, and I said it in the qualifiers, I'm going to say it again. There's never been a period in COD Mobile history where there has been so many outstanding players. There's literally top tier players from Team 1 the whole way down to Team 50. In fact, the only bad player or player that's not a top tier pro is Baller. And I still think I'm on the side that thinks that he is like pretending he's a noob. So, you know, we'll have to wait and see. Team number 49, we got Boludo Azir. That's Rojo and Frost Blue. They barely qualified yesterday, along with a Bull Boss and ICANN being the last qualifying team in the qualifiers yesterday. They barely got in. It's the first time they've been back in a tournament, I feel like, in over 2 months, bro. I feel like it's been a year since I've seen a Bull Boss and ICANN from the Middle East come in and play in a tournament of ours, but of course we welcome them back, man, with open arms. We love to see a Bull Balls and ICANN cook in lobbies. They didn't cook yesterday, So I'm kind of hoping that they lock in a little bit today. It looks like Guz got into his account. Tom's also here. You know what? This is the best we could have asked for. We were actually quite worried earlier. Me and Mandam were sitting down talking, and we were discussing, oh no, there's been an announced brownout, which is essentially when periodically throughout a day, a country goes through blackouts temporarily. And it seems like Philippines has one of those today, but it looks like everyone's here. It looks like everyone's here before I can get through everything. And yeah, we were actually going to start before Guh joined, but he joined in time, and it looks like we have 99 out of 100. Somebody just got kicked up. Kicked out. Guh, Tom Pips, do you have an explanation for me? Explanation for me? But while we wait for this to start up, let me know what team you think's going to win it all. Let me know what team you think's going to win it all. Also, in our next tournaments, we're going to be including a little graphic on screen, at least for the YouTube stream, where I say my favorites. What teams I think are Ferg's favorite to win. I'm going to give you 3 teams every single tournament that I think has the highest chance of winning. But I'll say them out loud without having a graphic on the screen for this time around. I'm going to give one of my top 3 Ferg favorite votes. I'm always going to have to go with Slayer. So it's going to be Slayer and Necro are going to be one of my top 3 favorites to get into the finals. Well, to get into the top 3 and win it all. They'll be one of my top 3 favorites. I'm also going to put a top 3 Shuyin. Oh, am I going to say... Yeah, screw it. I'm going to say, as long as their internet survives and their electricity doesn't die, I'm going to say Guh and Tom Pips. I feel like they could hop up here and really stand above all. Of course, Super Jeff and Narosa are in there too, but I don't want to give both of those top 3 picks to two Filipino teams, right? Because we have a European team, which is Slayer and Necro. We've got a Filipino team. I'm going to go... Oh, it's between Guh and Tom and then Super Jeff and Narosa. I'm gonna go with Guh and Tom. Just because Guh performed so bad last week, I feel like he's gonna have a chip on his shoulder, so I'm gonna go with team number 2. And then my final team, I'm gonna have to go with Senior J and Kust, because they won last duos event last week. So I'm going to have to go with them, chat. Absolutely. I'm going to have to go with them. So we got Senior J and Kust, we've got Guh and Tom, and we've got Slayer and Necro for Ferg's favorite top 3 picks, chat. That's my top 3 favorite picks. I hope that they perform, but it is duos, and it's the Wild West out here. We literally looking like year 1, season 6, Call of Duty Mobile's update Wild West. If you weren't playing back then, chat, unfortunately, you weren't an OG, okay? You weren't a freaking OG, broski. Loyal, thanks very much for the galaxies. We get ready to go into game number 1. Matter of fact, I don't even have Tickfinity on, so I'll turn that on just for you right now, broski. Appreciate it. All right, let me also turn up the game volume so that we can listen in to arguably the biggest and best duos tournament of all time, broski. All right, it's gonna be a good one, chat. I'm ready for this today. What's up, Shark? Long time no see, broski. Couple of Filipino flags going off in the chat right now. East is taking the top spot for the gifter on TikTok straight away. Thank you very much, chat. I'm excited for this one. Broski.